37. The Story I Never Knew. When I started dating Albie's father, I told him about you. All he said was that we were never to discuss it ever again. So we never did. Our first day together was far from over. I sensed Mom Doreen's hesitation, but she seemed to know I was desperate to fill in the blanks. The mystery, the secrets around my conception, birth, and adoption. As I listened, a thought struck me. My affinity for language didn't originate from Mom Doreen. She struggled to find words, unaccustomed to revealing her innermost thoughts, as if severed from her own soul, leaving her feelings fragmented. I didn't judge her. Instead, I faced the mirror of my own assumptions, ashamed of the calloused thoughts I'd entertained about, quote unquote, my birth mother for so long. I never knew. Had I known, I would have wept, not judged. As I absorbed the depth of her story, I struggled to come to terms with the shock, horror, empathy, and shame that flooded me. Her words revealed a truth that brought relief to both of us, melting away my anger, rejection, and feelings of abandonment. Now, listening to her recount her traumatic childhood and life as she remembered it, seared my heart and soul. As I listened to her story, I began to grasp the profound depth of her pain, rooted in the circumstances of her birth. Her arrival in the world marked a separation, a severing of ties that would forever shape her life. My grandmother's leprosy diagnoses had cast a long shadow, a stigma that became a sentence. Its impact was evident in the series of institutions and foster care arrangements that followed. For the first year, she lived in an orphanage, surrounded by unknown faces and empty arms. Then she moved to a foster home where her caregiver, a friend of my grandmother's, provided basic necessities but little affection. Her duties included scrubbing floors, a task that bred feelings of blame and shame. The contrast between her circumstances and those of the family's biological children was stark, particularly at Christmas. While they unwrapped gifts, she received a meagre present, half a loaf of bread with jam. At 9 years old, she discovered a devastating truth. She was not their biological child. This revelation unleashed the painful sting of rejection, forever altering her understanding of herself and her place in the world. Welfare's intervention brought another move and new strangers into her life. Her second foster family presented new demands. At just 9 years old, she was expected to care for their 8-month-old baby. With barely enough clothes to wear, kindness was in short supply. Though poverty's grip was suffocating, she found solace in athletics and korfball, where her talent shone. Accountancy had become her passion, but financial struggles soon severed her educational journey. At the tender age of 16, she was compelled to leave school and join the workforce, surrendering her dreams of academic success to the harsh demands of economic reality. And then the unthinkable revelation. My father's name, Hans Strydom. The mention of him hit like a thunderbolt, striking me with its weight. He had seemed ordinary, working at the municipality and selling insurance, but behind his familiar face lay deceit. With calculated charm, he manipulated her, exploiting their 5-year age difference. Their fateful encounter blurred the lines of consent. Married, with 3 innocent children, he led a hidden life. Lies of sterility and false promises of divorce preceded his ultimate abandonment. Confrontation brought searing pain, pleas of poverty, and cowardice. Pregnant and ashamed, she sought refuge in the Home for Unwed Mothers, Haus Bergendal, witness to shattered dreams. My birth marked another painful severance. Silence accompanied my first cry. She didn't hear me, didn't see me, didn't touch me. Reduced to mere words. A little girl. She was dismissed, departing the hospital the next day in a cold farewell. The court's coercion, backed by the weighty oath of the Bible, exacted a promise: silence and surrender. I promise to never search for her. Yet, beneath the surface, her heart bled. One whispered confession to Albie's dad remained hidden in the shadows, veiled in silence. However, amidst the darkness, a beacon of hope persisted. Every night, she performed a defiant act of faith. On her bedside table lay bread of life, promises of God, scripture cards, drawn like lifelines in times of despair. These Bible verses offered promises of protection, guidance, and love. As she slipped the cards under her pillow, her prayers infused with longing, tears, entreaties, and trust mingled. In the darkness, a mother's love shone, unyielding and unwavering. Now, her tear-soaked confession would reveal the depth of that love. I never stopped thinking about you. I never stopped praying for you. As our tears merged, my inner Alice shattered, releasing years of pent-up sorrow. Visions overwhelmed me. Every evening, Mom Doreen's steadfast ritual, a scripture card drawn, a whispered prayer, her pillow damp with tears, her final thought, me.